It's Patty Gurdy featuring Christopher Bowes. Let's go. Hey there. So the artist is Patty Gurdy featuring Christopher Bowes with her, and the song is Peg Leg Silly Billy. Let's give it a look.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Chris.
Wanna go for a boat ride?
Sure, Chris.
Then get on board. Peg leg silly Billy rose for one, but his crewmate whines about his son. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. Peg leg silly Billy rose for two, but his crewmate whines about his flu. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. But his crewmate whines about to flee. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. Peg leg silly Billy rose for four, but his crewmate whines down on the floor. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank.
Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me? Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me?
Peg leg silly Billy rose for five, but his crewmate whines about his wife. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. Peg leg silly Billy rose for six, but his crewmate whines about his ticks. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank.
Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me? Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me?
Peg leg silly Billy rose for seven, but his crewmate wants to be in heaven. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. Peg leg silly Billy rose for eight, but his crewmate whines about his fate. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank.
Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me? Man overboard, he's down in the deep sea, down without hope. When will you release me?
Peg leg silly Billy rose for nine, but his crewmate whines about to dine. He was far too tanked for what he drank, so they made him walk the plank. Peg leg silly Billy rose for ten, but he never wants to row again. He gets up and walks the plank, and with his tears, the old man sang.
So what did you think? I thought it was a riot. I don't know how he kept pulling those dolls out, but there was a ton of them. Okay, so I was going to explain to you a little bit what instrument she's playing. It's called a hurdy-gurdy. But instead of me explaining it, I found a little clip where she will explain it to you. So let's watch this. and then we'll talk a little bit about her involvement in collaborating with other musicians. Here we go.
Alright, Patty, so we've seen you play. But how the hell does the hurdy-gurdy work? How does it make so many different sounds? The hurdy-gurdy is a drone instrument, just as the bagpipe, which means it can be played using a constant drone note as a bass. But it actually works more like a violin, since it is a bowed instrument. On the violin, you have a bow, which you can put down on the strings to play. On the gurdy, you have a wheel, which basically does the same job, just that you're putting the strings down on the bow to play. When you put down a string on the wheel and turn the handle, the string will start to vibrate. The wheel is made of a special kind of plastic or wood, then covered in rosin to make it sticky and give it more grip. The part of the string that touches the wheel should be wrapped in a thin layer of cotton to give it a more defined tone. On the violin, you press your fingers down on the string, shortening the vibrating length in order to get a higher tone. The gurdy uses keys with tangents for that, which can be adjusted to get a different pitch. In many cases, you will find a chromatic range of 2 octaves, which should be enough to play all your favorite melodies. The keyboard can be observed from above, and it actually looks a bit like a piano keyboard, starting with the open G, moving on with the G sharp, then the A sharp, B, C, C sharp, so on and so forth. In the beginning I told you that the gurdy is a drone instrument, so these are the low drone strings. If you're putting one on the wheel, you can play a melody to it. Now there's one super special kind of string, and the way it works can only be found on hurdy-gurdies. It's the trumpet strings, and they work a bit like high drone tones that can make a buzzing sound if you're giving the wheel a little impulse while playing. The impulse forces the movable trumpet bridge to hammer on the little wooden piece underneath. Pew pew, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. This happens because the bridge, which is also sometimes called dog in English, you see why, is tied to a peg, and the more tension I give it, the louder and longer the sound will be. And this is how the magical buzzing is made. These are the main and most important parts of the hurdy-gurdy. I hope this video was helpful. Feel free to share it with your friends and leave me a comment if you have more questions. If you click on this video, you can see a live performance with my instrument. And if you click this one, you can see all the extra features my instrument has. Bye bye, see you next time.
Now, if you want to see that other video that shows you more features of the hurdy-gurdy, the link to this video will be in the description box. I was captivated because I saw her perform with Ailstorm, not Hailstorm, but Ailstorm, and she collaborates with metal bands as well. She's considered folk rock or dark folk rock by some, but nevertheless, the sense of humor that goes along with this video was so much fun I thought you might enjoy it. Now, her other videos are also excellently made, and the music is wonderful. So I'm going to throw a couple more of hers up, and then if you have some favorites, put them in the comments for me, and we will play them as well. So thanks for being here to watch this with me. I always appreciate that. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so on the way out. I'm so glad you were here to watch this with me. Have a great rest of the week. Bye now.